Good morning, everyone. This is Smashi Business Show. I am Warid Ahmed, and I have Majid with me today. It's the 4th of March. It's a Tuesday. It's Ramadan. I feel like we're all in a really good mood. We get to leave work early, you know, and I feel like there's less expectations in a way, even though that's not the way that I'm operating. Is that the way that I'm operating, Majid?
No.
Do you think that I'm doing that? Okay,
No.
okay. That's good. It's good that that's not happening, but I feel like everyone's just in such a merry mood, you know?
The thing is, I think everyone is relaxed. It's just Ramadan has this very blissful feeling that comes with it.
It definitely does. And you know, Majid, like this Ramadan, like, do you have any aims? No, seriously, like, have you made an aim, by the way? Because I feel like whenever Ramadan comes, like, all Muslims gather and, like, you know, they make a list of things that they want to start doing or, you know, things that they want to start becoming.
The worldly side of it, I think, is a lot of people start their diets and they do...
Oh, hell no, I'm not doing that.
A lot of people kind of try to lose weight because they know they can fast and it's an obligation, so somehow they'll follow a diet, but those iftaris, trust me, those iftaris.
By the way, you know I gained weight in Ramadan.
Yeah,
I don't
usually
lose
it
weight.
happens.
This we call it sambusa. Sudanese people call it sambusa. Yeah. But oh my God, the cheese! It's so good.
I think the F&B industry wakes up and they're like, no, eat more suhoor,
it's
eat
so
more
good.
iftars.
It's so good.
And there's so many deals coming out that eventually you're enticed into it, like, okay, let's go for suhoor.
There's a lot of iftars.
Yeah, so I think kind of like everyone tries to lose weight. They think they will, but they start eating more. But on the religious side of it, I think it's just cleansing of soul. You try to consciously avoid bad things. Usually, the life is so fast, the professional life. You've entered into it and you've realized that you
Time
don't
goes
know.
Like this. Literally like this.
So this month gives you like a little more time for yourself because you're getting off early.
I don't feel that way,
early.
but sure. I don't feel that way, but you know, I feel calmer about things though. Like you know, Majid, like for example, yesterday, I did a lot, but I didn't feel like panicked about any of it. Because like an aim that I've made for myself this Ramadan is I need to learn the skill of being calm. And you know, usually I am a calm person, by the way, but I'm like calm in like catastrophes. I'm like one of those people when things are like catastrophic, I'm really like I'm ultra calm. But when over like small things, I go like ballistic. I don't know how to explain that. Like, you know, like perfectionist things, but I was so calm about everything because I'm just training myself of, you know, you're not meant to react. Things are not meant to stress you out every single hour. That is not necessary behavior. But you know what? Funny enough, Majid, it's so crazy, and I really want to reiterate this to, you know, every single Muslim listener here right now of, you know, I'm go to Taraweeh, guys, make dua. Like, you know, this is the time to make dua. Your entire life, your entire entrepreneurial life, your entire employee life will completely change because I said this on the panel. I don't know if you were listening, Majid, but last year in Ramadan, I'll tell you the story. During that time, I was applying to jobs, by the way. I remember I had applied to PwC. I applied to TikTok. TikTok, I got second runner-up. It was more of a, you know, can we keep your name on the list? Can we keep your email? And I said yes, but now I'm thankful I didn't get it. But at that time when I was applying to all these jobs, you know what I had prayed for? By the way, I never sought out journalism. I never like flat out went and applied to, you know, media companies. Does that make sense? And you know what I prayed for, Majid? It is so insane. Every single time I tell this, I get goosebumps, and this is how you know the power of God is so real. I basically said to God, because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I had a finance degree. I could do anything I wanted. No, really, like when you're doing a money degree, like, man, you can go anywhere. But point is that you know what I prayed for? I was like, God, I don't know what to do with my life, but can I please have a job where it's actually something that I'm good at, and it's something that I work hard in, but it's also something that I really love. And I said that make it something that I'm good at so that me working hard does not actually make me depressed. Because like, for example, Majid, I could, if I wanted to, become an investment banker. But I don't think I'd be happy because it's like the effort is beyond my natural capabilities. Does that make sense? So basically I prayed, I said, make it a job that caters to my natural strengths. So that it's like natural talent coupled with hard work. I prayed for that specifically. And then I said, and make it a job where I'm just an intern for 1 month only and I get hired right after. Because I'm so sorry, I don't agree with intern life. I don't agree with making someone an intern for 6 months. I call that abuse. I don't agree. And by the way, a lot of companies do it. I see a lot of my friends who are interning for like 6 months, and I'm so sorry, I would never do it. But point is, I prayed for exactly that, Majid. When I prayed for something, Love in Dubai was not in the equation. Augustus Media, Smashi Business, none of that was there. That's specifically what I said. And I was like, make it come to me. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it is. And look what happened. Yeah. I was an intern for just 5 weeks, Majid.
It happened.
Do you know how crazy that is? Maybe it didn't happen in the timeline that I wanted it to, because I left after I was an intern for a while and I didn't have a job, but isn't that crazy? Yeah. It's so, but that's scary, by the way. That is like really scary that it actually all came true.
You just need to have like pure will. I think
crazy though.
The idea of manifestation is real, actually.
I don't think I was manifesting though.
But like you were, like.
You think it's manifesting?
In the modern times, it's called manifestation. But I think in our times, we used to call it like something like a miraculous thing which happened. But now they finally have a name for it, that you think about something long enough.
Yeah.
For example, you don't dress for a job that you have, you dress for the job that you want. That was what I grew up with, the idea that always dress for the job that you want. So it's not dressing up in the sense of physical dressing up, mentally dressing up, always getting ready for a role that you want in life at some point. So it was mental and physical both. So you kind of like always aim for the higher goal.
Yeah.
And even if you're working at a point where you think you deserve more or you can do better, keep working there, but keep preparing yourself for the opportunity which you get. And as soon as you get it, you should be ready for it. Skills-wise, potential-wise, everything-wise, you should be ready for it.
I never knew that I would have been ready. That's by the way, that it was just more of this, it kind of just clicked in my brain. You know what I mean? I think honestly, branding is something really easy to understand. If you want to understand, just look through the account. You'll see a trend and you'll notice it and you'll understand it. But Majid, like to this day, I get goosebumps about it because when I made the dua, it wasn't actually, I don't know if it was Laylat al-Qadr. Basically, if you're not a Muslim, during Ramadan, there is Laylat al-Qadr, and they say that every single dua during that night is accepted. And usually it's like within 10 days, but nobody ever actually knows when it is. They'll tell you that it was this day, but nobody's actually really sure. But basically when it was is that something that I've always been told by my family, Majid, is that if you pray Maghrib, like the second the azan goes off, if you go pray Maghrib before the sun comes down, like the sun is still there and you're praying Maghrib after you've drank some water, your dua will be accepted. Yeah. And I remember I was praying and the sun was still up. Like I didn't go eat immediately like we all do, like we just go rush. And that's when I made that dua. So, but anyways,
I think it worked for you.
Let's go into today's topic. I hope that this offered some kind of positive note to all of you that, you can make a difference in your life this month. But beside the point, is Dubai becoming a victim of its own success? Yeah. I truly think that it is, by the way, and that's why I stopped promoting it. I stopped telling people, oh my God, you should so come here. No.
There's no space now.
Don't make my rent worse. By the way, I am completely considering moving to Abu Dhabi. Yeah. Like, oh my God,
Abu Dhabi is better and cheaper, trust me.
Majid, Saadiyat is so beautiful. I saw these buildings that were like right beside the beach and I was like, I need to live there. Like, I need to make the move. This is calm, like, you never know, guys. You might just catch me there.
I've lived in Abu Dhabi, to be honest. Everyone says that Abu Dhabi is expensive, but my 4 months in Abu Dhabi, I found it cheaper than Dubai. I think the only problem that Abu Dhabi, I won't say it's a problem, it's just like, it's a very cool and calm economy there. Everything is very well settled. People in their jobs are very well settled, so there's not much jumping around from here to there. But Abu Dhabi is very stable in terms of jobs. So if you get a job there, you will stay there. You won't move to Dubai for a better pay because Abu Dhabi already pays better. Because apparently in Abu Dhabi, your pays are better because they think Abu Dhabi is expensive. But I paid the same rent in Abu Dhabi. I lived on Reem Island in a very nice building complex which had 8 buildings. I had Carrefour right underneath in my basement. Every 8 of the buildings in the complex, everyone had their own Olympic-sized pool, a kids' pool, a giant kids' pool, a play area, and all those amenities came with the rent that now I am paying in an area in Dubai which is far away from the center of Dubai. I live in Discovery Gardens, has a public pool, no play areas for kids, just like small muddy areas. But it's a good community. It's not bad. It's just comparing what I was getting in the same amount in Abu Dhabi. And now, if I go for the same amount in Dubai, I won't even get a 1 BHK.
It's a
Even the
hidden
studio
gem.
is out of reach now.
It's such a hidden gem,
Yeah.
and they have such hidden money.
Yeah.
By the way, they are the richest.
Yes.
They have been Abu Dhabi has been hailed as the richest city in the world.
Yeah.
But anyways, coming back to this topic, so it was actually recorded by Bloomberg that there has been a surge in expats in Dubai ever since 2020, and that there have been over 400,000 people who have actually settled in the country. And what this has caused is that salaries are flattening. Recruiters are basically noticing that people want less extravagant perks. It's almost like people just need what they need to eat, and they need it for rent, and that's about it. But
the main idea is, see, Dubai, as soon as COVID happened, because I've followed UAE and Dubai nearly from 2019, like very hardcore, like focused.
before you moved.
Yeah, I moved in 2022, 23 something. But again, the problem was we were thinking about it. And also I had to travel for a lot of things. So that was my first experience of going and taking a deep dive into what the economy of the UAE is, what is the job situation, how much do you need per month to have a good quality of life. Dubai and UAE as a whole, the good part is a lot of things are very common. Even if you earn 5,000 dirhams, you'll have the same roads, same access to parks, same access to metros and all the facilities that are there for general public. That's the good part. But in 5,000, how much of a space can you rent out? Can you live with a family? Can you not live with a family? All these things you have to consider. But what I've seen that in COVID, a lot of people left as well, because a lot of industries died down during COVID. So a lot of people didn't have a job because the industry is literally froze, shut down during COVID.
But it's really crazy, Majid, about you saying all of this. I was having a conversation with somebody. I won't name who they are, but basically it was someone saying as soon as I get my money up, I need to leave. I need to go get my master's, get an education, become an entrepreneur somewhere else. And I remember I looked at them and I'm like, why are you doing it somewhere else? Do it here. And then somebody else jumped in, and you know what they said? And it was so interesting. They went yes, Dubai is beautiful. Yes, it's so extravagant. Yes, you get the highest quality of living here, whether it's education, whatever it is, literally every industry. But Dubai takes, it doesn't give. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? No, I asked them, what do you mean by that?
Right,
and they were like, notice it. Most people who are living here and they're living such a good quality of life, they've established something elsewhere and they've come here, and that's why the market likes them so much. Because they've come with such a depth of experience. So for them, it was really easy to settle. And when I thought about that, that's kind of true, Majid. Notice it. A lot of people who come here, they have something set up elsewhere, and so they can live here very comfortably. And I think that's a very hidden side. That's not because think about it. All the privileges that are actually provided, most of them are provided to Emiratis, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
It is their country.
Yeah.
And that's what they deserve, and that's what more countries should do for their people. But I think that's what happened here. What do you think about this point of view?
2-3 points. See, Emiratis getting all the benefits, like ultra benefits. it's a very interesting case study, the UAE, the country as a whole, because you have like, I think 10 to 15% of local population. So they can do it. No other country in the world has this mix of population where the locals are like way less. 10-15% is nothing of like the whole population. So first of all, Emiratis getting all of this is because of their very unique population dynamics. So that's one thing. Only UAE can do what UAE is doing for their nationals, because across the globe, if America, for example, it starts doing whatever UAE nationals get in terms of housing allowances, you get a house without with 0% interest rate, you can buy a house, you get a piece of land as soon as you get married. There's like 1 million videos of on internet, you can just watch like what perks do Emirati nationals who have the passport, who are the country, the actual locals, they get. The point is, the second point is, there's two ways to think about Dubai and UAE and Abu Dhabi and any emirate that you want to live in. Either you come here, you make the money, you work hard for 10, 15 years, and you make something in your own country. You buy property, you invest in property in your country. Depends on your salary, to be honest. This is the metric I'll use to make this easier. If you're earning 10 to 15,000, try to keep your expenses at 60-70% of your salary. Take the extra money, invest in your country. You'll make a house in 5 to 10 years. So you'll have something there. So UAE and Saudi Arabia, Middle Eastern broadly, Qatar, Kuwait has a very good economy, Bahrain, Oman. These countries have been famous historically for people coming here, making the money, and then setting up something in their countries. Real estate, maximum, mostly it's real estate. They set up houses, put them on rent. So they kind of get passive income from those places, and they have money gathering up in their countries. If you have a good salary, which starts, I think it starts from 20 to 25, then you can save more, then start investing here. So invest internally, get a studio, a small one, maybe an off-plan one, which has a which is going to get built after 3 or 4 years. Invest in that. Again, not financial advice. This is what I've seen people do. So those people have invested in the UAE because their long-term plan is, we'll live here. This is our country now. We're never moving away. So it depends on what plan you come with. You come with the plan to earn and eventually leave someday, or you come with a plan to live here and spend your retirement and everything.
I feel like that's definitely what's on that coin.
Yeah.
Like people definitely have those both sides. But what I've noticed, Majid, is like for foreigners, people who aren't Emirati, who do come here and decide that, I don't just want to earn and leave, I want to make something for myself here, is that maybe the beginning of all of that is really tough, but the result is always so beyond beautiful. But you mentioned something really interesting, and you said that the dynamic of the population of the UAE, of Emiratis, it's so interesting. And yes, it is so interesting. I actually got this this little lesson from my best friend Eliazi, and she taught me about her people, and what she told me is so interesting. First, she told me that she is basically Hadri, and the Hadris are from the sea.
Nice.
So there are people they're Emiratis who their roots go back to the sea. That's where they built everything that they built. They found pearls. They were traders in the sea. And then she told me that, obviously Al-Badu, these are the desert people.
Yeah.
So you have the people from the sea, you have the desert people, and then, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but there's the Bidah, and these are the mountain people. Nice. But then it actually gets more interesting. You then have locals who their actual roots are that, they come from Pakistan, they come from Iran, they come from Iraq. Very interestingly, by the way, Muhammad bin Ghati, his family, they're Iraqis. Yeah. So it's just, I find their dynamic so interesting. Like, Majid,
These people came at a time like 30, 40 years ago when no one believed in the UAE vision, like it will become something. And at that point, to be honest, one of the PR guys in my last company, his great-grandfather came here. And he settled, he worked for a sheikh. The sheikh offered him a passport. It's a very funny story. Right now, if someone offers me or you a UAE passport, we'll die for it, right?
My grandparents were offered, Majid. They said no.
You're right? This is what exactly happened.
I'm still so bitter. I'm so bitter.
To be honest, you look at the pictures of UAE as a whole, like, even 20 years ago, you would be like, no, I don't want to live in this place. This is like desert and just a single road. So the development that has happened over the last 2 decades, now everyone wants it. But to be honest, at that point, people who took a risk on UAE, they're reaping the benefits today because they got the nationality, they got their passports, and now they're Emirati locals and they're getting all the benefits that UAE has to offer. So a lot of people said no. That's the interesting part. So this PR guy told me that my great-grandfather, like your grandparents, they got offered that, and they were like, what will we do in this desert?
But it was actually out of nationalism. And you know what it basically was? So my grandmother, what's it called? Allah yarhamha, she passed away. But basically, a long time ago, she was friends with a sheikha. Forgot her name, but basically her son or something broke his arm. So she visited her. And because she visited her, she basically asked my grandma, she was like, anything, ask, and you shall receive anything that you want. And this is why I will never have anything bad to say about the UAE, Majid.
Yeah.
The people themselves, like Emiratis, like hadarathum, their history, they're very generous people. I can really say that to you, by the way. They're extremely generous. Like, I'll tell you later about that. But basically, my grandmother, of course, my grandmother being her very gracious self, she said, no, I don't want anything. And we all, till this day, tell her, like, come on, you could have asked for the passport. But basically, she gave my grandmother this really special, rare stone. And until Allah yarhamha, the day that my grandmother, she always wore that stone on her neck. By the way, that stone is worth a lot of money. But going back to their generosity, you know why? The reason why I mention it, there are Emiratis, by the way. Do you know what their culture is like? These are the ones that I know. It's like if I gift you a Birkin, next year, because you gifted me a Birkin, I have to get you something even way more expensive that you can't even top.
And
that's
what's more expensive than a Birkin? Good question, right?
Well, rare like Van Cleef motifs, like things like that. And it's like, by the way, they like fight over it. No, they fight over it. Like, for example,
I've seen the funny videos.
there can be, by the way, there can be like an empire of a family, and then one girl in the family finally gets a call from Van Cleef, and they're like, this rare color is finally available in the country. You can have it. This girl's aunts will jump in, and she'll say, actually, I really want that necklace. Can you hand it off to me? I want to give it to my friend as a gift because they did so-and-so for me. The gifting culture and between Emiratis, the generosity that they really embody, Majid, it is something so beautiful to see. It's something that I've had the privilege of growing up with, and I've had the privilege of learning myself that, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not saying that I'm careless with my money, but I'm very, like, it does not hurt me when I lose. There are some people, by the way, it hurts them when they lose money or they pay for something. There's stingy people, but I was taught that generosity. You know, it's the generosity that I grew up around. But do you know how crazy that is? Like, it's insane. Like, they keep topping it. Like, the gifts, like, you can't even match up to it. And I even told my best friend this. I was like, stop gifting me things. I don't want things from you. I cannot top them right now. One day in like a decade when I can, maybe we can go back to this, because you can't. How are you, like, Majid, imagine I hand you off things that cost like 5 to 10, like, what are you meant to do with that? Do you know what I mean? But anyways, moving to our next topic of the day, this is really big. So basically, the EU has started to ease energy and banking sanctions, specifically on Syria, reopening access to its oil and gas reserves. And the reason why this is such big news is because of Bashar al-Assad's corrupt regime. What ended up happening is that a lot of countries imposed sanctions on Syria. Yeah. To this day, the US is imposing those sanctions. But then Majid posed a really good question. You know, why is the EU doing this? Like, are they really doing it for Syria?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
This is, to be honest, it's not even evil from the EU, the European Union, to do this. It's just how the politics and the trade world works. You see a benefit from somewhere, you take it. Because, again, every country has to, it's called self-preservation in the political landscape, in the political terminology, that you have to work for your self-preservation. EU, you remember, we talked about it a lot, that they're getting their gas from Qatar. They're trying to put a 5% tax on Qatar because they're doing so much harm to the environment, according to EU. So they need the gas. They're taking it from Qatar. Qatar is digging up more to get more gas for them. And still they're questioning, oh, Qatar, why are you doing harm to the environment? Because you need it. So it goes back to that. And because of EU siding with Ukraine, they've stopped taking oil and gas from Russia. So that's costing them a lot. So now they've seen an opportunity in Syria. which is again has good reserves of oil and gas, and they want to go there. I think it's the cover of help and oh, we want to help them. But to be honest, it's very clearly a very economic opportunism move. We termed it as that. That they know that they have now a new source for oil and gas, which they need a lot. Because Europe, you've seen, it's a very wintry kind of a place. You have extreme winters there. They need the gas to keep their houses warm. And the new place that they are targeting
and they're
now
still
is Syria.
imposing taxes. And they're still imposing taxes.
Funny thing is, throughout this report, it was on the Wall Street Journal. I was reading it and I was like, okay, this looks clearly like they're taking advantage of it. And the idea is that they still have arms embargo. So they can't sell military equipment to Syria. They still feel that the leadership and the new leadership in Syria under al-Shara, that thing may go haywire. So they're like, let's start with trade. Let's not start with military equipment. Obviously, any country in the world needs defense equipment. We just saw IDEX happen in the UAE. No one thinks of attacking UAE. UAE is not in war with any country. But still, they hosted one of the biggest military equipment exhibition, and they made so many deals. The Edge Group, which is UAE's official group which handles all this, they made so many deals. They're buying stuff, they're selling stuff, military equipment. So I think defense is the best offense, works here. But why aren't you selling them military equipment as well then to keep their borders safe? We see recently Israel had some weird attack on Syria. Wherever they find a place, they go and attack and they try to claim land. But help them with defense as well, right?
Casually.
No,
You said that so casually.
To be honest, right now, what Israel is doing, it has gone to such a level of stupidity that it's not even worth to talk about it. Because initially, I know when all of that happened, like the October 7 happened, and the world was talking about, oh, they have the right to self-defense and all that. I still think people who believe that they're doing self-defense, they don't, I won't call them stupid, but intellectually challenged. People who still
agree
believe.
with you. I completely agree with you.
They're intellectually challenged because it's now pretty clear that there's like a list of 15, 20 international organizations who've called Israel out for their genocide, for their invasions. Everything is illegal according to international law, and they're still doing it. So yeah, that is why the casual tone, because now I don't think even we need to tell it in a way that, oh, it's happening. Everyone knows it's happening. So yeah, but coming back to Syria, EU is not a person or an organization which thinks good for Syria. It's right now, to be honest, very clearly a move where they're using Syria for their economic needs, for their oil and gas needs. And they'll go in, they'll take it on a subsidized rate because right now Syria needs the foreign exchange, foreign money. So they'll use all of that. And eventually, we'll see what happens to Syria in the next 5 years.
You know, Majid, this is why I will never, ever completely accept any bad word about the Middle East. Because you know, no matter how Western media may go out to paint the Middle East, whether it's the liquefied natural gas in Qatar, the resources that are in Syria, you know, Sudan being hailed as the breadbasket of the world, you know, our countries, they have so many resources. The MENA region is rich in so much more than what the West has. So, and we're seeing it here, and this is such a classic example of it. But you said something really interesting, Majid. You know, you mentioned how the UAE has really good defense. And you know why they have really good defense, by the way? It's all their AI. It's their AI. It all comes down to their AI and their technology, and somebody who is at the center point of all of this, of all of these defense strategies in the UAE is His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan. He is the UAE's National Security Advisor and Deputy Ruler of Abu Dhabi, and he was recently featured in the Wall Street Journal. I feel like Majid is really obsessed with the Wall Street Journal right now.
I feel like got subscription.
I feel like I'm seeing an obsession here, but Majid, do you want to go on and talk about your favorite person?
To be honest, since the very first time I heard the word G42, I was like, what is this? This is like my introduction to His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon, because everyone knows him. He's a very famous figure in terms of pictures. He's always he's the brother of the president.
Yeah.
He's always there on his side. Historic US visit by any sitting UAE leader going to the White House, he was on the side. He was sitting in every meeting, be it BlackRock's, Larry Fink, Satya something, forgot his name, Microsoft CEO. He did so many meetings. Every time, Sheikh Tahnoon was on his side. So I realized that this person is very important because the president is obviously, he's the head of our thing, the country. He is the main man. But there is someone always on this side. And then you go from G42 and you do the whole research, you go through the websites, and then you see that Sheikh Tahnoon literally heads a lot of places which have the capability to build UAE into the world AI leader.
1.5 trillion assets, according to Bloomberg, the Wall Street Journal.
Because he's the chair of ADIA. ADIA is nearly 1.2, 1.3 trillion dollars. It's the third largest sovereign wealth fund in the world alone. And that is the wealth that made Abu Dhabi the richest city in the world, ADIA. And then he also sits at the head of ADQ, which is nearly 300 to 400 billion. So you combine all of that, it's nearly 1.5 trillion of wealth. These are the two wealth funds that he sits on. Then Mubadala is a different sovereign wealth fund. He sits on the board as well. He doesn't chair it, but he sits on the board as well. So Mubadala and G42, they create MGX, the $100 billion AI giant, which is investing into anything AI.
Yeah, the $4 billion Stargate project in the US. Oh,
sorry, 500. It's a lot of billions. But yeah. So you see that whenever you talk about AI in the UAE, Dubai also, we see Sheikh Hamdan doing so much. We have an AI event coming up this year. We have so many things happening in AI. But if you look at the UAE policy, the national policy, Emirate policy is different. Every Emirate has something going on. But if you look at the national level policy, Sheikh Tahnoon is the leader of our AI policy. He decides what we do, where we invest, what are we overtaking now, where are we investing next. So it's a very pretty good, just go find these articles.
You know, Majid, that makes complete sense because he's the UAE's national security advisor. And this is something that I always speak about, by the way. I'm not somebody who has access to state secrets. I can't speak on them. I can't even, but you know, we can make educated guesses. And the UAE, like, Majid, you cannot tell me that a country that has grown this much and has grown this much in the Arab world would not make a lot of people angry.
Yeah.
Because think about it, like everyone's talking about Dubai. You know, Dubai is like the new America. The UAE is the new America that everyone just wants to come and move to. You cannot tell me that there would not be neighboring nations, that there would not be other countries that are thinking to themselves, we don't want this to be the case.
They're jealous or something, right?
And we don't know what they might do about it. We don't know anything. But the fact that Sheikh Tahnoon, His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon, is the UAE's national security advisor, and he heads all of these, you know, these tech funds, it really puts me into this limbo of that, you know, as much as people don't want to, a lot of people don't want to welcome in artificial intelligence. That's, I believe that may perhaps be why so many of us in the UAE are so safe. It's because of the AI that, you know, His Highness
AI,
Sheikh
the
Tahnoon
whole
has
security setup that we had. To be honest, recently there was this one guy we interviewed, and he said a very interesting thing that we now call it AI, but before that it was called machine learning, and it stuck with me that AI was always there. It was not just in the form that we see now, ChatGPT.
Or it was just not coined that term, artificial intelligence.
And it was not accessible to a normal person like you and me. Like we could just go to ChatGPT, DeepSeek, whatever, and be like, blah, answer this. It was accessible to high-tech individuals who understood the technology. So AI was always there. So even when AI was not cool, I remember this article, the WSJ profile on him. There's a Bloomberg profile on him. Revert did the story that how to meet Sheikh Tahnoon.
The man who's everywhere but nowhere. That's truly how I think of him, by the way, because he is everywhere. You see him in photos. You just, but oh my God, Majid, let me tell you something really interesting. I'm saying this off the record. Will not
On
expose.
record, off the record, on record. Everyone is listening. She's saying something off the record.
But basically, I spoke to someone who's a part of the Emirati community, and I asked, I was like, you know, you have the privilege that you have, the status that you have. Why have you not met His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon? I was like, if there's one person I would be completely excited to meet, it would be him.
Such an intriguing figure, right? Like
Right?
you want to know.
And then you know what she told me? She said that she was actually in a location where she came up to him and she said hi and she said that his guards just pushed her away. But then she went like, he got mad about it and he said, no, actually, that's really wrong. She can come have a conversation with me. So this is somebody with, even his own people have such limited access to him. And I just think that's so interesting. I really do.
It's just like, see, to be honest, I would say like right now, I'll give you a very nice analogy. You see Bill Gates everywhere. He's meeting everyone. But when you see the Bill Gates who was the head of Microsoft, he wasn't accessible. Now he runs an NGO, Melinda Gates Foundation. He has to be accessible.
He's in his charitable era.
Yeah. So
Kind
with
man.
His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon, to be honest, the role that he has, the things that he does, I don't think he should be accessible for everyone to just go and have a meeting with him. That's what adds to the novelty of meeting someone then. See, I think it's good that he's not accessible to everyone because then everyone will be like, okay, sir, we need this, sir, that. So I think with him, the closed door policy actually works because you have to carry that novelty. So then actually, if someone important is meeting you, he feels privileged. So he's met with Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Bill Gates himself.
Larry Fink, the CEO
he went to
of BlackRock.
US, so he met the then President Joe Biden. He's met with literally anyone. Whoever comes to UAE, even the Starbucks CEO, traveled from Dubai to Abu Dhabi to meet him. So you have to understand that he has to be in that position of privilege where people, if they want to meet him, they actually feel the privilege. So I know the very nice thing about UAE rulers is they're very accessible, right? Even now, Eid will come, this mosque right in front on Sheikh Zayed Road. Last to last year, when I was praying the Eid namaz, my khalu, my uncle, took me there and was like, the ruler of Dubai and his son, they come here to pray. So
Did
he
they
took me
come?
there. So I saw them. But
No
from a distance,
way.
they were just walking like normal people. They said hello to everyone. A lot of people paid their respect, said hello. They came in very nicely. They have like this whole circle of 4 or 5 people around them, but it's always like they look very accessible.
Yeah.
But that's like their persona that they portray.
I don't think they are though. We've never heard Sheikh Hamdan's voice like properly.
No, actually,
I always
weird
search
story.
For it. I
Like,
always search for it.
3 or 4 days ago, I saw a reel of him
Really?
reading poetry. I was like, oh, finally I've heard his voice.
But that's what I mean, though. It's
Yeah.
constantly the reel of him speaking poetry.
yeah,
I
right?
wish that at one of these launches that they always do and these deals that they always sign, that we actually we get to hear him like
I
say
think,
something.
again, with him being everywhere, he went to Hatta camp for the Ramadan iftar thing yesterday. So with him going is a gesture that like I am available, I'm accessible, but him talking is the privilege that you have to earn. So with them, I think it's very nice how these people carry themselves, how they're in public. Dubai ruler, you see him walking around in MOE, kids getting pictures with him. Oh, there was another reel where I saw him talking to a kid on a race course. And you couldn't hear the voice, but you can feel
Was it
his
on
voice.
Love in Dubai?
No, somewhere else. I was going through the reels and I don't know why it came suddenly because we talked about it that we've never heard him do a keynote
Or even
address.
Sheikh Tahnoon.
Yeah, we've
We
never seen
never-
them do
yeah.
this. So I think the privilege of them speaking at an event is to be earned, and most probably soon we'll see him making keynote addresses somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most
Soon
probably
enough.
we will be seeing more on the show. You will be seeing more on the show. This is Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production under the Augustus Media Podcast Network. You can follow our newsletter on Smashi TV, and please follow us on all of our channels. See you all tomorrow. Enjoy your day and
Bye-bye.
have a easy fasting time.
Yeah.